Good evening, you're very welcome to the first Daily Rundown of the week with me, Fiona Fox. Now on the Daily Rundown on Channel 7, we look at some of the big stories of the day and some of the smaller ones that you might have missed as well. Tonight we're going to be discussing horrible head teachers, Amy's place, the cost of poverty and much, much more. But before we get stuck into tonight's stories, I need to introduce to you the guests who are going to help us make sense of it all. Writer and dinosaur dater, our very own goddess, it's Jacqui Wright. Hi Jacqui.
Hiya, you're right.
And our regular couch potato comedian, Stephen Armstrong's here as well.
Wow, couch potato and comedian, yes, yes.
I would like to point out I don't write the intros.
No, and I would like to point out I know who writes the intros and I shall be having a word with him later.
So lovely to see both of you. Jacqui, it's been a while, I think, since we've both been here at the same time, hasn't it? You guys have been on the couch together at the same time, haven't you?
Couple of times now.
Couple of times,
You fisticuffs and causing all sorts of scandals.
No, not yet, but
you know. Quite civil.
Fingers crossed.
Time. Maybe it'll be tonight. Well, lovely to see you both. Looking forward to chatting with you later on. And you guys at home can get involved as well. Make sure, if you're interested, that you're following us on Twitter at The Daily Rundown. Tweet us. We'd love to hear from you. Right, let's go into our first news story. The effect of poverty in the UK costs the average taxpayer £1,200 a year and the UK £78 billion in total, a report says today. The Joseph Rowntree Foundation looked at how poverty affected different government services. The foundation, which funds research into social policy, said its total bill for poverty did not include money spent on benefits. The report is the first to look at how much poverty across all age groups costs different government departments. The most expensive of which is the £29 billion spent on treating health conditions associated with poverty. That's followed by the £10 billion on schools providing free school meals and pupil premium for per students. Do these figures surprise either of you?
Well, I mean, when I initially read it, I thought it said 78 million. So I've just recently found out this problem is 1,000 times worse than I originally thought. And I still don't think it's a problem. I think that the majority of this is spent on making people better and educating people. I'm okay with those costs. The suggestion that we need to look at a wider range of how we address poverty, I agree. I think that it is going forward, but it's not a new story that if you're in poverty, you might have health problems. You might, might require a free school meal. I mean, we'll be talking later about school meals and about certain schools' approach to it. We need to tackle this. It's one of those things that we've spent 78 billion on making the poor people better. If this is a problem, then maybe we could look at taking some of the money from Trident, and we could look at shooting food into people. I mean, it was an idea first suggested by Bill Hicks before he passed away in 1993. I'm guessing we could get behind it right now. It seems I'm okay with helping.
You'd like to see turn it around. It's interesting that that's how you took it from. That's what you took from that story, because I kind of was feeling. There's not a suggestion that we should reduce that amount, but the question is, why do we have such a problem that costs us £78 billion? Do you know what I mean?
But I would imagine if you're in that position where you're quite poor and you can't see your way out, there's going to be a lot of depression, low self-esteem. So it's not in a good place. But so you're going to have help with that, which is going to cost money. But it's what do you do to get out of that situation? How do you get yourself out of that situation?
Would you think that to try and tackle poverty would be a better way to spend the money in the first place rather than the effects of poverty?
I mean, it would be. I mean, it seems that this is a story that goes round and round and round. I'm of an age where, I had my milk stolen off me by Margaret Thatcher. But I'm also from an area in the country where they chose to put fluoride in the water, and people were complaining about this. It seems that the way that we help people is always going to cost money. I think that, we're so far along this project of capitalism that we can't just stop and go, right, let's just make sure everybody's okay. We need to make some difficult decisions. There is enough, from my good Catholic upbringing, I was told that there is enough in this world for everybody's need, but not for everybody's greed. And I think it's maybe we should look at it and flip it on its head and say we should tackle the greed in society. You know, if there are these people who have this massive poverty, there are hedge fund advisors, there are people who spend millions of pounds on their kids' birthday parties. Yeah. These people have a lot of money. You know, there's Wayne Rooney is having a charity testimonial, and that's good, but he's a very rich man, and I don't think he needs to have a testimonial to give money away. I know it's very easy for me to sit on this sofa saying what rich people should spend their money on. Maybe it's about equaling society. Maybe it's about not so much looking at the poor and going, well, you know, let's look at how we can help them. Let's look at how we can make it a more equal society, so we have less people in poverty.
It's just communism.
I'm not suggesting communism.
Yeah, it sounds like it to me.
I'm suggesting,
it does sound like it
I'm
to me.
suggesting international socialism. I think that politics is a great idea, and I think that you know, to get a little bit socialist, Animal Farm, George Orwell's Animal Farm teaches us.
I loved it.
It is great.
It is brilliant.
But it teaches you that if you introduce people into a theory, that's when it goes wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, the theory is great, and as I say, it's easy for me to sit on this sofa saying that all the rich people should give half their money to the poor people, and then nobody would be rich or poor. But that's not going to happen.
No, it's not.
It's not going to happen, you know. But, you know,
but
in an ideal world,
doesn't it feel though like that 78 billion is I mean, that catches kind of in your throat. 78 billion pounds.
Does that include housing as well?
It doesn't include benefits.
It doesn't include benefits, but does it include housing?
I think it includes all of this. 78 billion, for me, it's a number that once you get past a certain number, it just loses. It loses
all meaning.
Yeah, it loses all meaning.
Yeah, how big a space?
Yeah, I think that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just numbers. They're not actual. It's not actual money. It's just numbers that they're moving around.
Especially, I mean, tangible. There's just no way of getting your head around that. But does it feel sort of like treating the symptom, though? I mean, if that amount of money just being poured in, that it just seems like such a large amount, and I don't mean in any way the money should be going anywhere else. I mean, it should stay in the area of tackling poverty, obviously, but not just treating the symptoms of poverty. I mean, I think that we've been talking about this on the couch for quite a while now. How many people in this country, and in the UK, are living on the poverty line? We're talking about families where both parents are working
on food banks. Yeah, they said there's more people who are working who are reliant on food banks
than ever before.
Which is ridiculous in this day and age.
This week, or last week, whenever the schools broke up, we were talking about how much of a strain it's going to be on families now that they have to provide dinners for their children, because it's a relief sending them to school and being able to take some of the pressure off that way. So we're kind of dealing with this kind of day-to-day constant strain for people. Sure, like just treating the symptoms doesn't seem right. Where do the government need to be looking to sort of get to the root of this problem?
Well,
cutting their salaries for a start.
I mean,
cutting their own salaries for a start.
Obviously, we've had a year, it's over a year now, isn't it, of benefit cuts and tax.
Yeah, but they won't have had their pay cuts, will they?
Well, yeah, exactly. There's a lot of wastage in this country. In all countries, I think that, you know. I'm sat here wearing like one of my 12 pairs of shoes. I don't need 12 pairs of shoes, but I've convinced myself that I need a pair of Converse with the Joker on. I need them to be able to operate. I don't. I need one pair of shoes, a pair of pants, and you know, and again, not so socialist. I just think that we live in a world where everything has to be now, everything has to be instant, and I think that we need, as you say, we're just pouring this money and it's never going to end. It's always going to go into this hole.
Yeah.
But to address those things, we need to take some very difficult decisions, and it's the difficult decisions of the people at the top. We might need to convince some people that they don't need as much, or that maybe they need to sort of kind of allow access to this thing. Before I came out this evening, I was watching a program about some Eritrean runners who had just stayed in Scotland, and the community had gathered round them, and that they were then giving back to the community. One of the guys is now running at the Olympics, and it seemed to be that it was through the spirit of community that they opened up to these Eritrean runners, and these Eritrean runners are now a role model for these children. So it's maybe sometimes the answer is not money, it's about the community. Now again, I don't want to sound old, but I remember back when I was a kid, everybody on my street knew everybody else. It sounds really old-fashioned, but
they did though.
They did. And if
funny,
lady at
isn't
number
it?
4,
Yeah.
if she wasn't well, her kids would come round. I mean, we don't have. I mean, we're not suggesting we bring them back, but I'm a child who had a chicken pox party and a mumps party, and if one kid's got the disease, to bring them all around.
That, though,
whereas now,
the nurseries.
Exactly. Whereas now we have like zombie debt, and we have the idea that you have a debt that you're never going to get out of, and back in the day it was that. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm. Probably the answer to this is I'm now an adult with adult problems, and I was then a child, and my problem was where am I going to get my next ice cream from? I think we attack this by doing a little bit by everybody. Giving if you go shopping, maybe buy a couple of extra bits.
So do you think we need to go back to the lay person, to the average person on the street who needs to deal with this?
I don't think the politicians and so Philip Green is not going to help us. He's not going to come and help us out. We need to help ourselves out, and if that means that we learn that we don't need these other people, then that's a great realization. I personally like to think that every day I like to do something that's good or helpful or just an assistance to somebody. I admit that's because it makes me feel better about myself.
Yeah, but that's still nice.
No, it doesn't cancel. It's a bad thing. Yeah, exactly.
It's a win-win situation.
Yeah, everybody should just be a little bit happy and a little bit kind to everybody.
People.
There you go. Cup of tea, cuddle, only if you're allowed to.
We'll have to get you working in the banks as well to sort out everybody's debt.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, now it's easy to that. There's got to be a button somewhere that you press and it just disappears.
Or find it.
Thanks very much for that, guys. We're going to go for our first break. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We've got lots more news and a lovely musical guest coming up soon, so don't go anywhere. See you soon.